So I want to thank everybody for coming. This is a workshop about mindful holidays, walking into the holidays, feeling grateful, grounded, and guilt-free, how we can reclaim our peace and presence so that you can actually enjoy this holiday season. So I want to welcome everybody. The intention behind this workshop is how to look at the traditions and what we go through every holiday season, but looking at it differently with modern thinking. And what I mean by that is actually being mindful about what we're eating, how we're participating in the family dynamics and in um, our celebrations. Excuse me, our holiday celebration. So just let this hour be your reminder that your healing doesn't take a break. Just because it's the holidays, you can continue on your journey, whether it's weight loss or just setting boundaries. You can continue with that. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Cassie. I am a registered nurse and a holistic nurse coach, and I am founder of Spark Wellness. So the holidays can feel hard, and I don't know if this sounds familiar to you guys. Social pressure, pressure to go out, pressure to be around people, especially before Thanksgiving. I don't know if our younger crowd, our younger people, everybody comes home the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and you feel like you have to go out, or just, people coming into town and you feeling like you're spreading yourself a little thin. We tend to emotionally eat, some trigger eating, because a conversation with a family member. And family expectations can test our boundaries. They ask questions or they want to talk to you, or, what are you doing with your life now? And this, that, and the other. But I'm here to let you know you got this. You've changed your lifestyle. You've made those small changes, whether it's mindful meditation or journaling or anything like that. You've changed the way that you're eating, and it's time to change the way that you experience the holidays. Just because you change the way you advance yourself doesn't mean you can't participate like how you used to. But we're just going to tweak it a little bit. So, one way that we can make sure that we're conquering the holidays is bringing our own dish and planning ahead. So, an easy way to do this is if you know that you're a snacker, or if you want to make sure that, what you're eating is more of a plant-based or maybe less processed foods, you can bring your own dish. If you're watching your sugar intake or your sodium, that's a good way to keep on top of that as well. Using smaller plates while you're eating. I like to use the nice little dessert plates, or like the toddler size plates. That way it kind of tricks your mind. You see the portions, but it looks big. But that way you're able to sample a little bit of everything without going overboard. Because I will admit, I do love certain things during the holiday. I know once a year where you only eat certain things. So it's nice to be able to have an array of things. So if you use a smaller portion, smaller plates, you can enjoy smaller portions and have a more enjoyable holiday. And avoid snacking while you're cooking. If you are one of the hosting people this season, instead of like you're testing and you're tasting things, and I don't know if you're like our family, we do, I think they call it Midwest caviar, where they take the ham, cream cheese, and the pickle, and like kind of ham pickle roll-ups, and we cut them, and they're just like, or I think it's like Midwest sushi or something like that. But anyways, my mom makes these, and I always have to come up and take the scraps, and then like 5 or 6 of them later, I've eaten like I don't know how many pickles. So it's like being mindful of not snacking while you're cooking. And then just eat mindfully and give yourself permission to pause. I know sometimes, depending on our families, you better get it while it's there, and you feel like you need to eat everything because, I don't know, if you have teenage boys in your family or certain people that go back for seconds when you barely finished your first. Don't feel like you have to rush for those people. Enjoy the moment and enjoy what you have in front of you. So, we really want to focus on being present beyond the plate. So, joy doesn't have to only live in the kitchen, it doesn't have to be on your plate. We can focus on real face to face connection. And that's really what Thanksgiving and what these holidays are truly about. Instead of, everybody sitting on the couch this year, try a new tradition like a gratitude circle. I know some families go around the kitchen table and say what they're grateful for, or maybe starting a new tradition with a family walk. I don't know if you guys have heard, most people know this, but ancient Chinese medicine, walking movement after food that aids in digestion. It helps you move all that stuff around and makes you feel better after eating such a heavy meal. And even a memory jar. It's kind of cool to write down things that have happened and then putting it in the jar and then taking it back out later, maybe the following year, 6 months from now. It's another special occasion, and just kind of reading what was happening. Board games after the meal, that's a good one.
A lot of people go to the movies
Oh,
afterwards and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we like to do that. We're a big movie couple. We're in the movies all the time.
And you got to do the football.
Oh, yeah, football. Yep, definitely. All those football families out there. All right, so moving into the holiday season, it can be hard to set boundaries with family. Sometimes you might be white knuckling going into that family event because you know you're going to get cornered by Aunt so and so. We've all had that aunt in our family that we just rather not interact with, or that aunt that has to know who you're dating or, what are you doing with your life, this, that, and the other. It's easy to set boundaries, and I have some scripting for you too. For those who've changed the way that they're eating, you don't owe anybody an explanation for what's on your plate or what's not on your plate. If you're choosing to eat differently, you're choosing to eat more healthy, and they want to pile on the stuff, they want to pile on the dressing, or they want to pile on the cranberry sauce, you don't owe anybody an explanation for politely saying, I'm full, thank you. And you can say that calmly and confidently as well. And communicate your goals with compassion. Let everybody know what you're working towards. Some scripting for people if you're not feeling comfortable with saying things. I know some people it's hard to approach certain family members, whether you're afraid of hurting feelings or it's just not worth engaging with that person. Especially a pushy family member who likes to push extra food on you. You can say, thank you. It looks great. I'm just listening to my body right now and what's good for me for right now. But thank you. And also, if you signed up for this Zoom, I also included this PDF with a bunch of other verbiage or just scripting that you can use that you can practice what feels right for you and what feels comfortable. Another important thing I don't think a lot of people even talk about or realize is setting boundaries with yourself. Ask yourself, is this physical hunger or emotional hunger? Giving yourself grace over guilt. And going into the holiday season, setting one or two non-negotiables and actually honoring them with compassion. And those could be, I don't have to prove anything on my plate to anybody. That could be a non-negotiable for you. Um, Anything
Oh,
along those
good. I can
lines,
listen to
just
some of it.
thinking what boundary will help me feel most peaceful this season. If you need help with that, I've also included that in the PDF as well. And there's different levels depending how comfortable you are with speaking, to yourself, where you feel comfortable at as having that non-negotiable that's it. If somebody says this or somebody pushes too far, this is your non-negotiable that you're not going to trade that. And make sure you stick with it. I don't know if you're pushover. Some people are pushovers where, okay, fine, and they roll over. Stick with that boundary. Set that up with yourself, not only with your family, but it's very important to keep that boundary with yourself. And alcohol, that is a huge thing. And I want to say this as people, if there's anybody on here who's had bariatric surgery or weight loss surgery, we absorb alcohol way faster than normal people. For those who have not had weight loss surgery, it has to do with the reconstruction of our stomachs. So when we have alcohol, a little bit of alcohol can hit us hard like a ton of bricks, and it can be very difficult to deal with. So it can be two drinks and then all of a sudden it'll hit us hard. So if you've had weight loss surgery, please be mindful of alcohol and don't take up the simple little small space that you have in your stomach with empty calories. It can quickly derail any progress you've made so far this year. If you are somebody who tends to get a little wild during the having alcohol, and this is not related to surgery, but just in general, be mindful. Alcohol can turn a family gathering into something nasty real quick. So be mindful, be respectful. Just because it's there doesn't mean we have to have that glass of wine, but just be mindful of what we're doing and um, how we're participating. And if you'd still want to feel part of the conversation, you feel like you're still part of it, you can do the sparkling grape juice. My kids still like it. I think they're talking today, they're over 21 and they'd rather have that than champagne. Put it in a wine glass. If you want to have a mocktail and put it in a wine glass, dress it up, put a little splash of citrus water, a little lime, just so you feel a little bougie there, bougie on a budget, but still being mindful, but you're still participating. So just be aware of alcohol on so many different levels, whether you've had surgery or not, it can just derail the whole holiday. All right, gratitude and grounding practice. So when we're going into the holiday season and we are participating in all these different events, it can tax our energy levels. We can be here and then deplete to here real quick, especially if you have multiple homes that you have to visit. If you're a newer family, that might be true. You have in-laws you have to visit as well. If you're hosting, that could be extremely stressful. You have out-of-town guests going through your stuff and just it's a lot of pressure and cooking and shopping. So it's easy and helpful to do a grounding practice. If you're not used to it, it's something easy that you can do. If you're in the car before you go grocery shopping, before you pick up your groceries, if you're sitting in the Walmart parking lot waiting for them to come and get it for you, and you're waiting in line there to pick up your groceries, you can breathe in. Just practice what they call box breathing, or that box breathing is 4 by 4 by 4 by 4. That would be box, right? Or you can breathe in for 4, hold for 4 seconds, and then exhale for 6. You just want to make sure that your exhalation is actually longer than your inhalation. And then reflect as well. What are you most grateful for in your healing this year? Reflect on where you've come and how far you've come. I know we tend to put ourselves down and think that we wanted to be someplace that we're not this time this year, but give ourselves grace. Where were you at 6 months ago? Look at it that way. Be grateful of how far you come. I know there's a few of us that have made huge strides in the last 6 months. And just think when you're not progressing, you really are. Let me see. So some recipes I would like to share with everybody. I know we all have our go-to menu for Thanksgiving. We have our family traditions. We like certain things. But if you want to switch it up and just to kind of be a little bit more mindful of what we're eating, so we're not eating a lot of empty calories or a lot of processed foods, stuff like this plant-based harvest bowl. It's got Brussels sprouts. Not everybody has a Brussels sprout, and I do realize that. Butternut squash is an easy one. If you don't know how to cut up or cook butternut squash, they come cubed now. They're like no excuses, $3, $4 packaged. You can eat healthy, but still be on a budget. Chickpeas, I'm telling you, you guys are missing out. You got to try these things. And Vince, if you guys have been following me and Vince, my husband, he has lost a lot of weight going to a more plant-based diet. And this is like some of the things that he eats. And he's lost a lot of weight, but still feel full. And then also a warm apple crisp. And it doesn't have to be the almond flour and the monk fruit. We can start with simple things. We can make sure that we're using pure cane sugar. I'm saying, yeah, pure cane sugar. Monk fruit is a good alternative. It's not always as expensive as you think. Aldi, I believe, sells monk fruit. If you really want to be bougie on a budget, I'm gonna start coining that, bougie on a budget. TJ Maxx, Burlington, Home Goods, all those places, they sell that, nice fancy little food aisle, but they have monk fruit, coconut oil, all of that stuff. So you can still eat healthy and it doesn't have to be super expensive. And trust me, you will feel a lot better with it as well.
Just found out that a husband is gay and a dog.
All right, so a reflection moment. Make sure and remember to love your beautiful self. Healing isn't about perfection, it's about being aware. It's about being aware of how far you've come, aware of not focusing on your mishaps or missteps. Nobody's perfect. I can tell you that right now, and we all know this. It's not something new that I'm telling you guys this, but healing does not have to be perfect in order for it to count. If you're making steps and you're not where you were, like I said, 6 months ago, you're moving forward. And it's about being aware of how far you've come. Just make sure that you're loving yourself because that's what's most important. So some key takeaways for tonight. Make sure that we are being mindful when we're eating. We're not just putting stuff in our mouth just to eat it. One example I can really give, and I don't know if you guys can relate. when I'm sitting at a table with people, I feel like I have to do something with my hands. So I'll automatically just start eating, even though I'm not hungry, but I feel like I have to do something if I'm not participating, excuse me, in the conversation, or I'm just drinking for no reason, just because I feel like I need to do something. It's just that nervous energy. So, just taking a couple of seconds and just thinking about, am I really hungry? Do I really want this next bite? Or just being mindful of just taking a pause and enjoying the conversation that's happening around you without having to have that motion of eating and putting stuff in your mouth. But being mindful and present, especially with the way the holidays have been, or I'm sorry, this last year has been. I don't know if anybody else has been dealing with loss, but we have lost quite a few family members within this year that are not going to be sitting at that table this year. So just be mindful about that, who's not going to be at the table this year, and really enjoying the people that are. Setting boundaries with yourself and others. Again, this is something that I think is very important, especially when you work so hard to make these goals happen throughout the whole year. And for somebody to come in and just derail everything because of some dumb comment that they make. And it could be something so small, but it could be that one person that can say anything to you and it'll trigger you. And all of a sudden you'll feel like you just took 2 steps back. Don't let them do that. Make sure you keep those boundaries and keep your boundaries with yourself. And make sure we have gratitude instead of guilt. Don't feel guilty. So what? You had an extra brownie, you didn't mean to. Instead of beating ourselves up, just be grateful that, you know what, we're amongst family and we're here. But don't eat another one then. Pivot, correct yourself. Upcoming events. So I am super excited to announce I will be starting an 12-week transformation workshop in February. Um, It is my most personal and powerful coaching yet. So this experience is helped. Excuse me, I'm so excited about it. I can't even talk. The experience is designed to help you rediscover who you are beyond the weight, rebuild that confidence from the inside and out, and reconnect with your purpose and your why. So spaces will be limited. This is the first cohort. So if you register using the code November 25, I'll go ahead and we can give you a 10% discount on that. I'll go ahead and drop the information. If you sign up for my newsletters, you'll see the information for that as well. And speaking of which, if you would like to get monthly newsletters, they have inspiration, wellness tips, and upcoming events. You can scan this QR code here, or if you click on this link, hopefully it should link you to the newsletter community. So just sign up with your email, and you'll be sure to get those newsletters. And if you are on Facebook and you'd like to join the community, I do have my own community for like-minded people who are looking for support without being berated every time they have a comment or question about surgery. I know a lot of people feel judgmental once they've gone through it, but if you want actual support from a registered nurse and not somebody who just had the surgery and just feels like they're Joe Schmo and can talk about anything, join the page. I am I'm posting my events on that page. I'm also going to have PDF files, articles. So this is really good information, people. I don't know what other Facebook communities you're on that actually gives you that stuff, but this is tip-top information. So I hope you join. Again, you should be able to click here or scan this. If you can't find me, Cassandra Marie, I'm under that, or post-op bariatric group. So if anybody has any comments or questions or anything that they would like to share, any key takeaways that they got from that, anything that was useful going into the holiday season, or anything that you plan on doing to kind of keep that boundary and already have that conversation in your brain, like you're going to stop it.
Yeah, I think for me, I think I'm more like I'm gonna stay a little more grounded with it because I know when I do, get to those holidays, I always wanna, all right, it's the holiday. I can cheat, I can do this. But like you said, like even if you do eat that extra brownie, remind yourself like, hey, maybe I need to step back to the veggies, or you know what I mean, and not eat so much of this. So it's about the discipline for me is I got to stay disciplined and stay focused.
I loved your post meal walk. Is so good. And I think if you do have that extra brownie, which I may well, um, then then you just work a little bit further.
There you go. It's
You can
two more
balance it
blocks.
out. It's not a devastating event unless you do go for that third one.
Right? Then we need to have a kind of heart to heart with
Exactly.
self. What are we doing here?
Hey, Cassie, I have a comment. First off, good information. Love it.
Thank
Awesome, awesome,
you.
awesome. But one thing that I have gotten so good at doing over the years with the holidays is I don't take plates home.
Oh,
That's one of the, my thing is this. If you feel like all things, of course, I agree with everything that you mentioned because this is good stuff. But if you feel like, you know what, I feel like I want to do this indulging. I feel like I want to go ahead and have this, whatever, that extra piece of pie or whatever, or if I just want to have that small plate of food, leave the plates at the house.
yes.
Then you're
Yeah.
not indulging for days on that same amount of calories and you're going way overboard. And I think that just takes you down that black hole of
Mm-hmm.
no return.
I loved it when you talked about because it made me aware. I don't the nervous habit of thinking I have to eat when food's out or have to drink something where it's like I could go get a glass of water. I don't always have to just slam the wine or whatever's in front of me just because it's a
Mm-hmm.
nervous habit or eat whatever. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna definitely think about that with gatherings and stuff where I'm like, and also where is this energy coming from?
Mm-hmm.
What thought am I trying to avoid? Why can't I just sit here and be present instead of? So I really thank you for that.
Yes. And thank you for pointing that out because that can be applicable to whether you're drinking, alcohol, you're having that glass of wine, or, you're eating. I mean, both could be mindful because I do the same thing with wine, then I'm like, oh my gosh, or like a margaret, you have that nervous energy, and especially being around family, I'm sure it's amplified for all of us.
So Hyo is an adaptogen drink that is has like lion's mane and other functional mushrooms in it
Oh.
that gives you kind of that like floaty feeling like an alcohol beverage does. However, it doesn't have the same effects. It's lower in calories and it's just an alternative.
Nice. And it's no crazy uncle getting nuts from having too
No,
many of them.
no,
No drunkle happening.
no drunkle.
Where do you find those?
I was able to purchase them at Bevmo actually.
Oh, okay.
But
Might have to.
there's other adaptogen type. I think there's one that's called like Breeze. However, that one has like CBD in it. Some have THC. But Breeze has it's a CBD alternative also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's a good point too, for people who are 420 friendly or garden friendly. If you're in a garden friendly state, they like to partake. I know there are, drinks like that too. The THC ones, the dispensaries sell those, the aperitifs, so you feel nice and calm and even keel without having those nasty effects of the alcohol. One mindful practice when we're eating, besides, taking however many chews, putting our bites down, or how many times we're chewing our food, putting our silverware down so we're mindful of what we're eating. But also before we take that bite is tapping your fork to the plate. That way nobody kind of can see instead of like trying to do a mindful breathing technique because Aunt Gertrude said shit and got you all flustered and you want to sit there and speed eat. But to be mindful and actually tap your fork to the plate 1 to 2 seconds. Think about, what this food is doing for you. This is nourishment, this is enjoyment, what we're thinking and we're being mindful and then eating. And I could tell you it's going to hit differently, it's going to taste differently, and you're probably going to be a lot more present with what's going on. And you probably won't even eat as fast as you usually do, and you won't be eating as much. So just a little mindful technique. Cicely and Carmen, thank you for reminding me about that.
I
Or
also
anything?
liked your tip on the use a side plate or a smaller plate.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would help me a lot.
Yes, and that's how I do because I do. like a little half a scoop of everything, if I'm going to do something. That way I get a little taste of everything. And that's usually all you really want. You don't
Mhm.
need more than that.
I'm definitely going to do that.
Awesome. Well, like I said, if you're not already part of the Facebook page or the Facebook group, please look me up and follow on there for more tips. If you need me to drop the link for the newsletter, not, the newsletter and the how to receive that, I can drop that as well. But hopefully you guys got that. If there's anything else that anybody wants to add, I think it's a record 7:30. I'm good. I'm a fast talker. I'm sorry, y'all. I hope you got everything. It wasn't too fast for you.